Okay. So you can begin today sitting or lying down, whatever you want to do. Actually, you know what? I changed my mind. Let's just start lying down. If you're comfortable with it, let's start lying down. We'll do a couple things on the back to begin. So if you're happy with your feet together and knees apart, do that. If you'd rather cross your ankles when you lie down and then let your knees open out, that might feel better. And whenever you're ready to, you can let your eyes close. You can rest your hands on your belly, on the floor, whatever you want to. And enjoy a couple breaths. If you'd like, they can be quite deep. You can exhale with a sigh. And just start to pay attention to whatever's coming up with you. And remember, I'm insisting so much lately on this push for you to get really consistent and even hard-headed about being compassionate with yourself and being really respectful of your mind. Not because I'm trying to push self-love. I'm sure that's fantastic too, but it's because when you do this, what happens to your brain when you flood yourself with the hormones, the concoction, the everything that happens when you show that deep respect and that connection, it's very similar, probably the same thing that happens when you show that deep respect and connection to another person. The level of safety and goodness that your body gets is so, so useful. When it starts becoming a habit, you'll wonder why you didn't always do this. You'll start respecting other people more. You might even notice more respect towards you from others. And maybe one of the biggest sell points is that you free up so much mental real estate for things that matter to you because you're no longer stressing yourself out. So I'm going to give you a little bit of quiet and you can work with your breath. You can soften your face. You can move or be still, whatever you'd like. But notice when the conditioning comes in, when stuff comes in, particularly when you go into default, right? So when you're thinking automatically about the story of I, me, mine, notice if it isn't compassionate. And if you can shift to the place where you're just as kind to yourself as you would be to anyone else. If you'd like to use a mantra for this, go ahead. Sometimes I like mantras, sometimes I don't. But it's really just the attitude, the relationship. Again, keep drawing slow, easy inhales and exhales. And remember that it is possible to be very outside focused, very good, very loving, very smart, very fantastic at your job, all the things that you want. It is possible to be all of that and really, really kind to yourself at the same time. So as you take another breath or two, see if you can embrace that sort of atmosphere, the real respect, like you were listening to someone who is very wise, who is very loving, who's very good, and this someone is you. So whenever something comes up that contradicts that, you can let it come up. We're all conditioned. Just don't feed it. And I hope you continue to do that, not just now, but as long as you can, as often as you can. But let's start drawing on the breath with a little bit more emphasis. Maybe you start Ujjayi breathing. And remember, you can leave your lips parted if you want to. Just because the mouth is open doesn't mean we're breathing with the mouth. And if you do breathe in or out with your mouth every once in a while, it's totally fine. But maybe it feels better to keep the breath going in and out the nose, stretching out, finding that soft whisper in the back of your throat, and allowing the breath to really cover your attention. Now you can keep your eyes opened if you want to, or closed or open, whatever you'd like. But let's bring the knees in and we'll place the left ankle. We'll start with the left ankle on the right thigh in that figure four shape. And then you're going to take your right leg bent or straight and lift the foot off the floor. Maybe it reaches up towards the ceiling. You can draw your legs as close to your belly as they get in comfort. And maybe make some circles with your ankles. Now, as you're ready to, let your right leg bend too. So maybe both of the knees are around 90 degrees. Your left knee might be a little less than, that's okay. And you're going to take a breath in, arms on the ground. And when you breathe out, lower your right heel till it almost touches the floor and then bring it back in. Now keep squeezing your legs together, your ankle and your leg together. Inhale again. And when you exhale next, let your legs move over to the left, just an inch or two, maybe more. And then back to center and over to the right. Keep your upper back on the ground and back to center. You can use your arms to help with leverage. So let's repeat that a few times. Breathe in and then breathe out. Engage your abdomen. You might feel a sense of bracing or tension there. And then lower your right heel towards the floor. And slowly, with control, lift it back up. Let your legs move over to the left a little bit. Press your upper back down. Press your arms down, back to center. To the right a little bit. And back to center. So on the exhale, push your legs together, lower your right heel down. Inhale up. Exhale, knees drop left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. We'll do one more. Right heel down. And back up. Legs left. Back up. And right. Back up. And let's draw the legs in towards the belly. You can hold on to your right leg with one or both hands and maybe rock side to side, whatever feels nice on your hip. And then we'll release the feet to the floor. Keep them down. You can choose fingertips behind the ears to help support your head and neck, or arms reaching up towards the ceiling. But when you're ready, breathe in and then feel your spine flex as you crunch up a couple of inches, reaching for the ceiling, maybe even a little bit forward. And then come on down some. Again, let's go up. Hold it for a moment. When you exhale, pull your belly button towards the floor and come down. And up. Hold it. Exhale, belly to floor and down. One more. Up. Hold it. Squeeze. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And come down. Relax your neck. You might even press the back of the head into the floor. Some feel your shoulder blades squeeze together, and then bring your arms either by your sides or out to a T. And you'll put your right ankle on your left thigh. See if you can use your abdomen and maybe a little flexion in the spine to take the left foot off the floor. But if you need to use your hands to help, go ahead. And at first, maybe you just make some circles with your ankles. Stretch out your toes. Left leg can be bent or straight. If you were in class last night and your hamstrings are feeling it a little bit, it might feel sweet to straighten the leg and stretch them out some. Okay, now let's press the ankle and the leg more firmly into each other and allow the left leg to bend so the knees are at more or less 90 degrees. And when you're ready, inhale and exhale, engaging through your belly. Press your ankle and leg together and lower your left heel towards the floor and see if with control you can bring it back up. So it's just as steady and you move at the same pace down as you do up. So really pour your attention into what you feel. Lower the leg down. Bring it back up. Now, when you're ready to, press your upper back into the floor and take your legs just to the right a little bit so you'll end up on your right hip some. Press down with your upper back, come back to center. Legs over to the left a little bit. Press down again. You can use your arms to help. Back to center. And exhale slowly. Left leg moves towards the floor as you press your right leg into it. And then just as slowly comes back up. Exhale, twist a little to the right. Doesn't have to be a lot. Back to center. Twist a little to the left. Back to center. We're gonna do that twice more. As you're ready, exhale, lower towards the floor. Take your time. Inhale back up. Good. Exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Wait for your breath. Center. One more time, down. Up. Yeah, right. Nice job, everybody. Center. And left. Center. And then again, you can let your left leg relax a bit, draw the leg in, maybe using a hand or two, and moving however you please. Now from here, uncross your legs and then bend both of your knees. Bring your arms out to a T. You can bend your elbows if you'd like to. And when you're ready, inhale, knees as close or as far from your belly as you want to. Exhale, drop your legs over to the right some again. Press down very much with your right arm, your left shoulder. Come on back up and take it to the left. Come on back up. We're gonna do that again, but we're gonna hold it. So let your right knee go over, your knees, excuse me, go over to the right. Press down with your upper back. Squeeze your legs and breathe. Legs are hovering off the floor if you can. They can be on the floor if you need to. Back to center, inhale. Same thing over to the left, and then we'll move on. Bring your legs back to center. And then you're going to make your way onto hands and knees, however you would like to get there. Spreading out the fingers, spreading out the toes. And when you're ready, inhale, lift your sit bones up towards the ceiling, lift your sternum, lift your nose. And exhale, tuck under. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tuck. If one of these feels better than the other, if you're really enjoying it, you can hold whatever you want to. Good, we'll do just a couple more. Or again, hold one you're enjoying. Okay. As you're ready, downward dog, hips up. And you can pedal through your legs if you'd like. Find your breath. As you're ready, inhale forward into plank pose. Exhale, push the floor away. Imagine you were trying to push through the floor with everything touching it, and then cinch through your waist. Inhale, push into the floor even more. And exhale, lift your hips and start walking your hands slowly, if you can, to the back of your mat. And see if you can try not to let your hips move side to side a whole lot. When you make it to the back of the mat, exhale, fold forward. And then come rolling up to stand. You can lift halfway up if you want to or not. And after you come up to stand, focus your eyes. You're going to put your left ankle on your right leg. And we're just going to stay here. So your knee might be really far forward. It might be back. Just do whatever your body is okay with. And let's just try this simple balance, this sort of simple balance. So grab the floor with your foot, focus your eyes, press your legs together. So you're pressing your right leg into your left ankle too. And as you're ready, release the foot to the floor and have a breath. Let's take the right ankle onto the left leg. Remember, you can put your ankle on your shin if that feels better. You can do tree pose instead. If you'd like, if you can, put your ankle above your knee. Start pressing them together and let your body find its balance as you find your breath. Press your leg back into your ankle. Lift your hip points a little. And let's release the right foot to the floor. When you're ready, take a breath in and lift your arms up however you want to. And when you breathe out, dive forward. Inhale, lift your back up some, look forward. Exhale, fold and just feel that stretch in the back of your legs. Inhale, lift halfway up, fingers to the legs or the floor, whatever you prefer. And exhale, fold. And you're going to keep going. Really be led by the breath. Again, let your breathing cover your attention. And if something comes up about your body, your mind, your anything, your ... and you find that it's not kind, not supportive, just don't have time for it. That's all. And when you're ready, walk your way forward, back into plank pose. And we're going to really push into the floor again, just like before. You can have your knees down if you want to, but push the floor away with your hands and with your toes. See if you can drive your heels. Really, they could be forward or back, but keep them pushing, either pushing, pulling forward or pushing back so that you feel your legs engaging. If you pull your heels forward, you'll probably feel your quads somewhere. If you pull your heels back, you'll stretch out your calves somewhere. Both are correct. Remember, it always depends on your intention. Squeeze, squeeze. Notice if you're heating up. And just for the experiment of it, try not to let your hips move side to side. You can bend your knees, but try not to let your hips move side to side when you walk your hands back. And then fold forward when you get there, releasing your throat and your jaw and your eyes and your head. Inhale, lift your back up some. Exhale, elbows to thighs, lower your hips. And let's just pause here and notice, and remember, this is correct, it's not a fixer. Just notice what part, if any, of your feet want to lift up off of the floor. When my feet are parallel here, the big toe sides of the feet want to lift up. It's just my body type and my habits. And sometimes I let them. See what it feels like in your legs. Are they starting to burn a little? How's your breathing? Now take that left arm and wrap it around both of your legs. And you're going to put your right hand to the right side of your pelvis. So you can feel where it is. You can hold on however you want to with your hands, but start turning your chest to the right. Turn your rib cage, not anything below the waist, just turn your rib cage to the right. And then maybe if you feel like your hips are pretty squared off, you lift your right arm up. And try to lean into your left leg. Release your right arm to your legs. Left hand to the pelvis. Make sure your knees are lined up with each other. Turn your rib cage. So the right side under the waist stays kind of pulling back. Turn the rib cage to the ceiling. You can put your hand on your lower back. Feel how level your pelvis is. Won't hurt you if it's not. We're just playing with that today. Maybe lift your arm up. And fold forward, relax. Find your breath. And travel up to the front of your mat into plank, but then lower onto your belly. Bring the tops of the feet to the floor. Bring the forearms to the floor for Sphinx pose. Lift your back up some. And just have a couple breaths here, tucking the tailbone some, but still allowing for that curve in the lower back. We're not trying to take it out. We're just not trying to overdo it. So maybe you can feel that or imagine it by bringing some attention into your upper back. Can you squeeze your shoulder blades in? Squeeze your elbows in by your sides, and then maybe lift them off the floor an inch or two. Or 5, whatever you want. But again, really engage through your upper back. Maybe even take your head back a little. And come on down. And then up to hands and knees. And when you're ready to, with your hands as close to your knees as you'd like, inhale, reach the right leg back in space. And then when you exhale, take the right foot to the right pinky. Lift the back knee up, and let's wiggle the right foot over to the center of the mat. Spin the left heel down for warrior 2, and you can circle your arms up or stand up however you want to, really. Let's grab onto the floor with the feet. If you'd like, you can move your shoulder blades and the front of the rib cage down. Seeing how that makes your torso work. You might even squeeze the back of your arms up. A few more breaths. When you're ready, inhale, lean over that back leg. And exhale, bring your hands to the floor, stepping back into downward dog. When you're ready, inhale forward. Exhale, lower your knees. Reach your left leg back. And as you're ready, bring your left knee towards your left elbow and place the foot near the pinky, bringing it towards the middle of your mat. Back knee up, back heel down, warrior 2 on this side. Good. Shoulder blades down, perhaps front of the rib cage tucked, just to see how that engages your back. Yeah. If you feel that in your hip, remember that's totally fine. You can bend your knee less or even turn your foot and your knee out some. Maybe gaze toward your left hand. Another breath or so. And lean over your back leg. Good, fingertips come to the floor as you're ready. And you'll step back into downward dog. Inhale, take the right leg up towards the ceiling. And when you exhale, you're going to take the right foot to the right pinky, just like you did before. Take your time. Remember, you can always pick it up and put it there if you need to. Now lean to your right side a little and step your left foot up to your left pinky. From here, lower your hips. You can do whatever you want with your arms. You can adjust your feet so it feels better. Heels do not have to be down. Back does not have to be flat. When you're ready, fingertips to the floor. Lift your hips as high as you want to, and it might not be very high. Step your left foot back. Step your right foot back, plank. Push the floor away. Inhale and exhale, downward dog. As you inhale, allow your left leg to lift up towards the ceiling. And when you exhale, step the foot to the pinky. Have a breath in, and then step your right foot to your right pinky and lower your hips down into Malasana. Again, any variation you want. You might have to bring your feet closer to each other, maybe farther, whatever feels good. And breathe here. Pushing whatever is touching the floor into it. And then releasing your fingertips to the floor. And maybe experiment with not lifting the hips up first. Both are correct. But maybe keep your hips quite low and then send your right leg back. And then your left one. Push into the floor. Walk your hands to the back of the mat. Maybe try not to let your hips move side to side. So you can feel the work in your arms and in your core. And let your head drop. Inhale, lift your back up some, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees, bring your elbows to your thighs, maybe separate your feet some. When you're ready, grab on to your legs with your left arm only. Sink your hips lower and then twist to the right. Exhale, twist to the right. Turning your rib cage. Bring your right hand to your leg, both elbows in the legs, just pause here. Notice if any parts of your legs are lifting up, of your feet are lifting up. And bring your right hand to your left leg, so your elbows on your right leg, twist to the left. And knees to thighs. Just feel the work in your legs, breathe. And let's push the feet into the floor and stand up. You're gonna lean into your right foot, put the left ankle. So either have your left ankle pointing out, pointing in towards your leg, like tree pose, or if you can, ankle to thigh, one or the other. And then from here, you can decide what you want to do with your arms later. Grab the floor with your right foot and sink your right hip back and down. Push your ankle into your leg and then push your foot into the floor to help you stand up. And release your left foot to the ground. Lean into it. Either turn your right knee out. You can bend your knee that way, or put your ankle to your thigh and bend your knee that way. Sticking your hip back in space. Notice your breathing. Press your ankle into your leg and your foot more firmly into the floor as you inhale, stand up. And exhale, release your right foot down. So I want you guys to try this with your toes on the floor because I know I think most of you are going to be doing this with your ankle and your thigh most of the time, but let's just try it. So let's start with your right foot down, turn your left foot out to the left, like you were going into tree pose with your toes on the floor. And then everything else is going to be basically the same. Push your hip back and bend your knees a bunch. You're probably experiencing your right leg doing like 70% of the work, maybe even more. And your left hip, excuse me, the one that's turned out, you can turn that out even more if you want to. And then let's push into the floor, straighten the legs with the other side. So swivel your foot forward. Turn your right knee out like you were going to go into tree pose. And then grab the floor with your left foot, push your hip back and down like you were sitting in a chair that was really deep. Push the floor away with your foot. And maybe take your right knee out even more. Feel all the work accumulating in the left leg. And then push the foot into the floor more to help you stand up. Good. Now from the back of the mat, parallel legs. You can shake it off, give yourself a breath. You're going to reach your arms up and dive forward. And get your fingertips to the floor however you can. I almost always have my knees bent here these days. Whatever you want though, knees bent or straight. You're going to take, just like you were just doing, okay? You're going to take your left knee, lift your left heel, turn your left knee out to the left. And just see how this feels. Maybe even lift that left foot off the floor for a second. The knees turned out to the left, foot's off the floor. Try not to lean into your hands too much. But now lean into your hands and walk them forward with that left foot floating up in the air. Maybe the left knee is still pointing out to the left and you push the floor away. Breathe. Left knee's out to the left. Breathe. Push the floor away. Inhale. Take your left foot and step it to your left pinky. Take your right foot and step it to your right pinky. And lower your hips down. You can wiggle the feet however you want to so it feels better. Malasana again. Any variation you want. But as you're ready, fingertips down. Maybe the hips stay really low. Send your right leg back. Push into the floor. Exhale your left leg back. Plank. And then maybe just try not to let your hips move left or right as you walk your hands back to the back of the mat. When you inhale, lift your back up a little. Exhale, get your fingertips to the floor with the knees as bent as you want. Lift your right heel, turn your right knee out to the right. Breathe. Start to activate that left leg a little more. Maybe put a little less weight in your hand. Maybe let that right foot lift up. Keep breathing. Now start to lean into your hands some more as you walk them forward, one hand at a time, until you're in a 3-leg plank pose. So that right knee is still out to the right. Right foot's up off of the floor. The left knee can absolutely be down if you need to. Push the floor away with your left toes and with your hands. Breathe. Lift that right hip. Inhale. Exhale, right foot to right pinky. Next, exhale, left foot to left pinky, or thereabout. Lower your hips. Find Malasana again. And this time you're going to put your left arm up against the leg and twist over to the right. Turn your ribcage up. Perfect. Pressing your leg and your arm together. Good. And let's release. Right arm presses into right leg. Left arm up and over. And release. Now hips low-ish. Hands to the floor. Inhale. And exhale, step your left foot back. And exhale, step your right foot back. And from plank, back into downward dog. And let's walk the hands to the back of the mat. Maybe the hips don't move side to side. And when you're ready, lift your left heel, turn the knee out to the left. Lift the foot. Walk your hands forward again. Back into plank just for a little, not for long. Take a breath in, really lift that left knee out to the left. And then exhale, take your left knee, everyone, knee to wrist for pigeon. And you can bring the foot forward and wiggle that right leg back. And we're going to try a little twist here. You can put your elbows to the floor. And then perhaps you just come onto your left hand and turn your chest to the left. If you have practice with this or you know your body enjoys it and you want to go a little lower, maybe you bring your right elbow to the floor, stack your palms, and then point your elbows away from each other. Of course, we all know that the wackiest looking or the most, quote, advanced one is not always the most advanced one. So find what works for you. If you want to get your torso really close to the floor, go ahead. For me, and I'm suspecting for you guys too, the twist to the left here is interesting. The twist to the right is where the fun is. So let's come on back to center. And from here, same thing applies. You can put your left forearm to the floor, come onto your right hand or fingertips, turn your chest to the right. You can lift your arm up, you can go lower. And we know that having that shin parallel to the front of the mat doesn't matter that much. But if you are one of the people who do that because of your body type, you can put your arm in the kind of crook or nook or arch of your foot. Bring your palms together. One of the things that happens though on this side is that the right hip tends to open up to face the wall. That's not incorrect either. But it might not feel like you're twisting as deeply. So maybe keep your hip down, turn your rib cage up. Good. That's enough. When you're ready, hands to the floor. And let's just step back into whatever you want. Cat cows, child pose, vinyasa. Okay. Within a couple breaths, there's no rush, but within a couple breaths, head to downward dog. And then from there, travel to the back of your mat. And just hang out there. You can interlace your hands behind the back if that's something you love. You can hold on to opposite elbow. But when you're ready, the fingertips are going to come to the floor. The right heel is going to lift, the right knee turns out to the right. And then let that right foot float off of the floor as you walk your hands forward into plank. Lifting that right hip, lifting the back of your left leg as well, but really squeeze the back of the right leg. And then exhale, take your right knee to your right wrist. Let the shin be at some angle with the knee. And our first twist is going to be over to the left. So you can put your arm, your hand, your whatever down, and just turn your chest. I'm sorry, I meant to the right. Turn your chest in the direction of your front knee. Yeah. And let's come back to center and try a twist to the other side. And you don't have to keep your left hip squared off. Just notice if it tries to open up. Come on back to center. Hands to the ground. And lift your hips up. Bring your right leg back. Let's walk to the back of the mat again. Lift halfway up. Fold, and then come up to stand. However you want to. And release your hands down. All right. We're going to bring the left ankle to the right thigh. Take your time. Now stick your hips back. And your left leg, you're going to bring your left arm to it so they rest on each other. You might stay here. If you want, you can turn your ribcage to the right. You might keep your eyes focused on the floor though. Remember, reaching your right arm up to the ceiling is not turning your ribcage to the right. So really try to twist from there. You can stay here, or if you want to, you can twist over to the left. Bring your right arm on your leg. And then everyone, fingertips to the floor. If you can, your leg has to come off, your ankle has to come off your leg, that's fine. But walk your hands forward into plank. And when you're ready, take your left shin, push it into your leg, breathe in. And then exhale, take your left shin and slide it forward for pigeon again. But this time you're just going to fold forward and relax. Walk the hands in. Lean into your left hip this time, and let's bring the right leg around. And cross the ankles in any way that's comfortable. If you have access to stacking your shins in fire log pose or double pigeon, you can. It's not better or worse. Remember, the deep mobility poses don't make the pose necessarily better. It depends on what you want, and what you need, and your body. But let's just twist over to the right. So the right fingertips come behind you, the left hand can go to either leg. Feels though you could take the left side of your lower back in space. Lots and lots of breath. Come on back to center. If you want to put the other leg or ankle on top, feel free, twist to the right. Up to the left, excuse me guys, to the other side. On the right side of your lower back, so the side of your back opposite the direction you're twisting in. Move that back in space. Lots of breath. And back to center. And then however you'd like to get there, or however you can get there, our final downward dog, and also final chance for vinyasa if you'd like to take one. It might feel good. So if you want to inhale forward, lower to your belly. Find your favorite back bend. And we're going to meet one last time, maybe without the hips moving very much side to side, to the back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up to stand. Exhale, arms release, and the weight goes in your left foot. The right ankle comes to the left thigh. And then you take your hips and move them back and down. And you can stay here. If you want, you can bring your right forearm to your right leg. You can also stay there. Maybe with your right hip going back, you twist to the left. You can stay here if you want to twist to the right. Just put your left arm on your leg and turn it around. And then through center. Somehow get your fingertips to the floor. Walk them forward. Take your time. Doesn't matter if the leg comes off. Well, hopefully your legs don't come off, but if your ankle comes off of your thigh, just put it back there when you shift forward and press your legs together for a breath or two. So your shin is pressing into your thigh into your shin, your hands into the floor, your left toes into the floor. And then when you're ready, take your right shin, shift it forward and stretch your left leg back, finding a comfortable pigeon. Might be a little gooey after everything you've done. And fold forward. As you're ready, walk your hands in. You'll lean into your right hip, bring your left leg around, and come onto your back. With your feet pushing into the floor. Lift your hips up some. Tuck your tailbone so you feel a squeeze in the back of your legs. And then if you want, you can bring your arms closer underneath you, squeezing your shoulder blades together and lifting into bridge. Again, cover your attention with your breathing and feel like your hips were moving not just towards the ceiling, but also towards your face. Really tucking the tailbone so you're long in your lower back. Come on down. And after you get there, feet together, knees apart. Just see how it feels. Let's bring the arms out to a T. Now, this final twist that we do is up to you. You might not even want to do it or have to do it with all that twisting we did. But if it feels good, let your knees drop to one side, any variation you want to do. And let's switch sides. If you decided not to twist, you do whatever you want. You can go into Shavasana now. And you can come back to center when you're ready if you did twist. And stretch your arms and legs out so you can go into Shavasana. Get comfortable. Have a double breath in and breathe out, maybe with a sigh. And begin to add a little bit extra to the end of the exhales. So we're not going to try to control the breath. Your body's got this figured out. Just push out another second, half a second of air at the end of the exhale. So little that you hardly even feel your abdomen have to work for it. And maybe you feel the inhales feel a little more spacious. You might notice there's an almost automatic pause at the top of the inhale before the exhale that's a little longer than it was. You might imagine your breath was kind of rocking your nervous system, or at least the excited parts of your nervous system, to sleep. Remembering again that so much of what we're doing as we pay attention to what we can see, to the small amount of everything that's going on that we're conscious of, is to create an environment wherein we feel safe and energized and strong and wise. Again, dot, 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 whatever else you are intending with your life. And of course, to be able to share that with others. And begin to let go entirely of the breath. And perhaps of everything else. Have another couple breaths. Maybe the inhales are exaggerated a bit, like you were trying to wake up your body just a little. Move your hands and your feet, rock your head side to side if you want. Eventually, if you want to come out of Shavasana, roll onto your right side and come up to sit. And have this short moment, use it well. And if you want to fold forward, bring the hands behind you. Have another breath in as deep as you want, and exhale, fold forward. And thank you all very, very much.